The first ever televised presidential debate between a former and sitting president will happen tonight at 9 p.m.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump will face off in a much anticipated meeting even before the two major party conventions. Political reporter Rick Albin is here now with some of what we might expect.
Yeah, I think this debate tonight is probably going to be very much about solidifying votes. You know, debates don't generally create an atmosphere for voters to change their mind, but rather solidify their opinion one way or the other about the candidate. In this case, there's virtually nobody who doesn't know both candidates well. And as polling has shown, a majority of people would prefer two other candidates, so that creates a unique problem or an opportunity for both men. If one candidate or another has a standout performance, would it be enough to get unmotivated voters off the fence? Maybe. But I think it'd have to be something fresh, something new that the candidates haven't talked about before. I don't think it's likely. Either are going to be breaking new ground tonight. Biggest job for both men is not to make a critical mistake. And given the tone and tenor of politics today, I'm not exactly sure what that would be, what would be disqualifying or be bad enough to erode support. But both candidates also have to try to reach out to that moderate middle in order to win important swing states like Michigan.
What do you think some of the issues are that will be sort of taking center stage that they'll talk about tonight?
Your presidency was worse than my presidency. I think we're going to hear a lot of that tonight. I think overall both candidates will decry the other's presidency as failed and wrong for the country. President Biden will lean heavily on his party's often repeated claim, pardon me, that a Donald Trump election would further endanger abortion rights in the country, while the former president will talk about the differences in the economy when he was president. I apologize. That's just a couple of issues. Everything border security, Trump will say Biden hasn't done enough to close the border. And Biden will say Trump blocked bipartisan legislation that would have done more to help close that border. There'll be foreign policy questions. It'll all be discussed tonight. But it may be more about how each candidate presents themselves than it will be important about the issues, since we have a pretty good idea where both of them stand on those issues.
Right, there shouldn't be any surprises there. Rick, this is an early debate, and then we won't have one for a few.
Right.
This is going to impact the outcome of the election, or?
That's really tricky, because I would say no, because it's June, right? It's really early, and debates aren't necessarily that place where something big happens and changes numbers dramatically. Sometimes you'll see a little bounce for one candidate or the other, but here's the thing. While I still say probably not, this election is going to be won on the margins. I mean, we're looking at 1 and 2 percentage points in swing states, almost all of them. So even though the impressions of both Joe Biden and Donald Trump are etched in many people's minds, and you're not going to change that, the possible impact goes back to that unmotivated voter. They don't like either one of the candidates, but they may be looking for a reason to vote for one tonight and to see if they'll get either man that can appeal to a group of voters who might otherwise set this one out. So I think the answer is yes, but I'm not sure. And one of the real problems is the length of time between now and the election. That's a lifetime in politics.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, and if they don't do the one in September, and this is the only one, I don't know how important it comes.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Thanks,
Rick, thank you. You can watch the debate tonight right here on Wood TV 8 or our sister station, ABC4 West Michigan, starting at 9 p.m. tonight. We'll also be streaming it on woodtv.com. And Rick will be back later tonight with post-debate analysis and reaction on News 8 at 11 right here on Wood TV.